It is imperative to human culture and its agenda of self-furtherance that we do not honour and see ourselves and each other. This bears repeating. It is imperative to the human culture you have conditioned yourself to defend and serve that you do not honour and see yourself. Do not honour and see everybody else. This is why human culture spends so much time and energy and resources on disparaging and warning against human beings, human nature itself. Human culture tells us that it is we who are the problem, we humans. And that is why human culture is needed at all. According to human culture, the reason human culture is needed in the first place is because humans need to be saved from their own inherent nature. Whether we identify this as our animal nature from a scientific point of view, or as some form of original sin from a religious point of view. Whether promoting itself as scientific or spiritual, human culture tells us we are small, vulnerable, and cowardly. And this is why we need to be protected from ourselves, from each other. This cultural telling of how you, of how we, of how each of us is a small and unreliable thing in a vast and aggressive cosmos is how human lie culture sees it as fit and right to think of you, and of how human culture sees it as fit and right to describe what you are to you from the moment you are born. Human culture exists to do the very opposite of honour and see the human beings that cause human culture to exist. And this has come about very simply and perfectly naturally from human culture being the product of people in amnesia, people in not knowing, people who are not noticing that throughout every speck of every moment of their remembered experience, the only single thing that reliably and truthfully abides in their reality is themselves. The only single thing that you have living experience of is that in all existence and every moment of your experience of it, there is only one thing that reliably abides, and that one thing is you. Human culture tells you to look in any and every direction for the causal agent of reality, the causal agent of you. Any and every direction that is a direction away from you. But the truth about reality and the truth about being living reality is that there are truths that are existentially incapable of not being true. Being existentially incapable of not being true, these truths must iterate the truth of themselves in all places at all times, alongside and in inescapable collaboration with all truth everywhere. Essentially, what needs to be understood here is that the causal agent of reality, which is truths that are existentially incapable of not being true, are by no means to blame for reality. The truths that cause reality cannot help it one bit that they themselves cannot not be true. They do not get a choice about their own inability to not be true. They cannot keep their own unending presence from insisting that they experience themselves as being conscious, as being sensitive, from one moment to the next, forever. The causal agent of reality becomes amnesiac and then asks, where am I? What am I? Who am I? And where is the causal agent of all this? Because I have a few questions. I've been looking for this character everywhere, but the only person I find, everywhere I go, is me. What kind of crazy house is this? Seriously, am I missing something here? Yes, you are missing something here. When you wake up amnesiac, in a room full of amnesiacs, the amnesiacs that have been awake for longer than you don't talk about how they are amnesiac. They talk about all they were learning while you were asleep. So you perceive yourself as an amnesiac amongst people who actually know something, rather than perceiving yourself as an amnesiac in a human world that is also entirely amnesiac, which is the simple truth of reality here, right now. To be coherent with the truth of reality in any given moment is to be optimally self-empowered in that given moment. And how shall any of us ever be coherent with the truth of any single moment of our life before we have been allowed to know what the truth is? The one school of thought human culture does not wish to tolerate, amidst all of the nonsensical cultures it actively embraces, defends, and protects, is that of we are the eternal. In the high school yearbook of reality, this is the school of thought that wins the title most conspicuous by its absence. Human culture has a space set aside for there is a creator God. You'd better believe it. It has a big space set aside for God. And it also has a big place set aside for we exist as a passing result of blind energetic forces of physics. Human culture has places set aside for pretty much every idea an amnesiac human could ever come up with about where they came from, how they came about. And the only place at the table that has not been set is the place that is set there for the truth. That you are the eternal. That you are the unstoppable and entirely blameless insistence on your own existence that requires you to experience consciousness and sensitivity forever. And that you owe it to yourself to honor and see the truth of this always. You do not ever stop owing to yourself, that you honor and see yourself. You can abandon and betray yourself all day long, every day. And this debt of honor does not go away. It does not diminish. If you have any hope for yourself of living meaningfully and coherently in some good and accurate assessment of what reality is before this human life of yours resolves itself, you should look to become cognizant of your debt, the debt you owe to yourself, and do not ever stop owing to yourself, that you honor and see yourself. To be sentenced to eternal consciousness, eternal sensitivity. Who is it that should ever deserve such a sentence as that? The question doesn't even make sense. Deserve doesn't come into it. We are here, and we are together. And it is in honouring and seeing our own self first that we each may come to honour and see each other. And we owe it to ourselves and each other to do this, and do this well, because we all only want to feel better rather than worse. And us feeling better rather than worse together is the only way we get a true embodiment of better rather than worse at all. The better rather than worse that we do most deeply long for literally is the better rather than worse that, knowing yourself to be the eternal and honouring yourself in that recognition, brings. Because coherence with truth is the best that can ever be experienced in any given moment. If you want to get the best for yourself that you can possibly get for yourself, and every living being naturally wishes for the best for itself that can be achieved, then you owe it to yourself to be as coherent with true reality as you may be. And the truth is, eternal truth causes itself and then has to live out the fact of that. You cause yourself. You aren't ever going to stop. And the very least you can do for yourself within that is honour and see yourself for who and what you are. You are that which abides. You are the eternal. If other people want to forget this about themselves and about you, then such is their freedom. You do not want to forget this about yourself. The only time you don't want to know this about yourself is when you are already in forgetfulness. You are that which abides. You are the eternal. This is not something for us to worship you for. It is a thing to have compassion towards you for. A thing to have compassion towards ourselves for. You deserve to be honoured and seen. And you are accountable to yourself for honouring and seeing yourself. The quality of your eternity directly depends on your ability and willingness to honour and see yourself for the blameless truth that you are, so that you may then make your choices that now coherently honour and see you as you truly are, and serve your own heart's desires clearly and cleanly as solace and consolation for your eternal sensitivity. You burn and you live because you have no choice but to do so, and you only ever wish to feel better rather than worse. There is no inherent evil here. There is only life that is innocent. Innocent because you never even asked to be life. It was a done deal all along. You live and you burn because you are the truth that cannot help but iterate and iterate and iterate the truth of itself for all eternity. I am. I am conscious. I am aware. I am sensitive. I live. I feel. I desire. I am. Come what may, I always am. And for that, I offer my sweet, dear, darling, endlessly blameless self all of the honour and recognition this humble, eternal awareness has to offer.
I see love there. I feel love here.